I don't wanna have to slap anybody, but I will. Lord help me, I will. I don't wanna have to slap anybody, but I will. You know that I will. Look me in my eyes and tell me I'm too nice of a guy, and you'll be the to another exciting episode of Slapboxing with Your Shadow. I am your host,
My head hurts.
Fari Split, and it's been real. A lot of things have happened since the last time I clocked in with y'all. Long story short, the bar is gone, and well, the bar is still there, the shop is still there, the tattoo shop is still there. To be more accurate, I'm gone. It just wasn't working out on a business level, definitely wasn't working out on a friendship level. So rather than, stay in the spot and make things awkward or, hostile, I chose to leave. And maybe I'll dive into, the details of that. But all in all, it was for the best, you know. And since then, it's been a roller coaster. Ups and downs, dealing with old shit, new shit, blue shit, new, like, whatever, man. Trying to be clever on this shit, but yeah, man, life has been happening. But before we dive into all that, including this dope ass t-shirt I got on, sponsors. Shout out to Green Tea. Yes, sir. Trying to look after the health with the antioxidants. So hopefully that's okay. Doing a lot of research and well, it's not even research really. It's just how many articles can I come across about whatever rabbit hole I'm currently diving down into. So, health in your 40s, what to do, what not to do, how to work out, how not to work out, things you can still do, things you need to give up on trying to do, and so forth. So, that's where I'm at with green tea. Still drinking coffee, still smoking cigars, just not as often. And, yeah. So, diving in, this t-shirt I got on, it was a gift from an artifact special event that happened in Tokyo not too long ago. And if you know who the artifact guys are, uh, basically they started off making, we'll just say digital fashion for metaverse, like avatars, basically. So it's like, you're in the metaverse, we're going to make these digital clothing, and we're going to make them NFTs. So like, you can purchase it kind of like purchasing clothes, but in the metaverse. And at first, I didn't really get it. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, so it it had this echo effect of, buying skins on video games and shit. So then when Metaverse popped off and everybody was buying VR headsets and shit, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna hold on that, see what pops. And around the 2000, 2001 uh, portion, the artifact cats were already doing like digital assets, like, t-shirts and hats and stuff to put on your avatar and shit. And then they did this thing called a minting event, where like if you wanted some of the fashion, you could get the fashion. They eventually got it was shoes first. They were doing digital shoes first. Then Nike had sort of like this digital shoe, like I don't even know what it was. It's not dot swoosh. That's what it is now. Maybe it was like the early years of what dot swoosh is now. Swoosh, swoosh, swish, whatever. The swoosh. We'll say swoosh, swish, swoosh. Okay, so dot swoosh. And basically, the artifact cats. Oh yeah, and that there's the spelling. The spelling is RTFKT, artifact. Yeah, took me a while too. I was forever saying RTFKT is doing some wonderful things in the space, that shit. But basically, so they were already doing digital sneakers. Nike was like, we're gonna launch this digital sneaker thing, and then Nike pitched to him and was like, yo, we want to buy you out. And well, not so much buy you out, we want to bring you on, basically. And the Artifact cat said, yeah, because honestly, it would have been cool to see them stay, independent. But in the same sense, join in with Nike, you reach a bunch more people worldwide. And if you haven't seen it already, the Ep.1 documentary on Netflix, whatever happened to Ep.1, Nike happened to Ep.1. That's what happened. Anyway, enough of that. So Artifact teamed up with Nike, and they had this minting event where you could get these NFT shoes. And during this NFT minting event, if you have the NFT, you can get the shoes. And it might sound a little bit like whatever, especially some of the shoe designs. Some of the shoe designs are a little wild, but the way I was looking at it was like, that's no different. Well, we'll say it's parallel, because it is a big difference between someone going into a tailor and saying, I want a bespoke suit. You're looking at the quality of the material. You're looking at the style. And while the style isn't individually, a one of a kind, it can get tailored to what you like. And in this case, your shoe size and, which style you're looking for. And because of that uniqueness in it, I sort of kind of was like, okay, that sounds kind of dope. I'm leaving out a huge section of this. Number one, and I got to give shout out, my little bro, who is running a Web3 brand called Warren 3 or Warren Web3. I don't know the official. It's Warren 3. That's what I always call it. And he hit me up to everything about this. He sent me a message on the weekend and was like, yo, is there any way you can go to Tokyo next week or next weekend? And I'm like, what for? And he's like, yo, you should really check this event out. So I went to the event. Overall, the vibe, like, it wasn't my scene at all. Like, it really I didn't get there and feel at home. I didn't get there and feel like I was this is what I've been looking for. I went there looking like these motherfuckers spend a lot of money. Some of them are looking kind of not my vibe. And that was when I got to the event. Overall, the event went smooth. I mean, I didn't run into no bullshit like I did before the event and after the event. When I was in the event, when I was at the hall where they had it at Tokyo Big Site, which is a beautiful structure and just an amazing place for venues in general. Just they had like conventions there and all these. They had a lot of stuff going on that weekend, and it was kind of cool just to get in there and see how they transformed it into a gallery, especially a digital gallery. And then they had the Nike shoes there, so you got to actually see what they look like, and security was enforced, and it was nice in that aspect. It was definitely much different than anything I have ever experienced before. And I was really happy to see, how they teamed up with Murakami. Like, not only did he team up with Artifact for these NFTs that they dropped, he also partnered with them to do 2 of the shoe designs in that whole Nike set. Plus, at that same event across the hall was Geisai 22, which is an art exhibit for young up and coming artists. And then next to that is Geisai Classic, which is for people who are over a certain age limit. So it was really cool to see he had a booth there, and it was like, these are going to be my new releases. It's all pretty much NFT, sort of like 8-bit flowers, but with like an emoji feel to them. But the designs are ridiculous. And he did like 150 of them that kind of a sunflower emoji style 8-bit fashion for each one of those color paints. And it's beautiful, really. Just to look at it, it's like, dude, this is some wild. And you know, some of them are cute, some of them are a little bit like, what you thinking? But that was just so cool to be in that whole space and to see all that come together. But of course, my 80 baby syndrome kicked in, and I had some problems being in Tokyo and being in Shinjuku. It's like, since I live in Kansai, I got comfortable, especially like in places like Osaka, certain parts of Himeji, Kobe, Nara. People are friendly. Like, you know, it's not, you know, everyone's the friendliest, but people are friendly. They talk to you. They'll look at you. They'll make eye contact, and if you look at them in certain places, you know, they'll be like, you know, how you doing? Nice to see you. Other people will do the quick, you know, all of a sudden, this building over here looks very interesting that I can't acknowledge that you're staring at me or looking at me or even walking by me, you know? And in Shinjuku, it's a whole different type of vibe because there's so many damn tourists there now because the borders are wide open and there's no mask mandate, there's no vaccine mandate, just come and spend your money. And so the tour groups are in mad effect. I went there in Shinjuku just to meet my boy. We were from the same city. We came to Japan around the same time, but because, you know, he's in the Kanto area in Tokyo specifically, and I'm in Kansai, we don't see each other that much. And so it was kind of cool to sit down and talk. And so our lunch turned into drinks, which turned into more drinks. And so we just pretty much drunk all night. And it was fun. It was great to talk to someone you could relate to, you know, in the same sense. I was wearing a Messi jersey, and you know, it's my signed Messi jersey, and yes, it's signed, and I wear it because I'm not one of these people holding on to, you know, sports memorabilia just to flip it. You know, it's like I was enjoying watching Messi play since like 2000, what? When was that World Cup? So I'm sitting there with my jersey on, and I'm outside smoking a cigar at this bar on the patio, and there's a tour group going into a liquor store. Now, I saw the tour guy. He was like, okay, we're going to go in this liquor store. You know, it's no tax, so feel free to buy whatever you want. Japanese whiskey, woo! So then there's these, I make eye contact with people. I made a oath to myself that a lot of the anger and hostility I was feeling was self-created. And so, like, you know, I'm tired of people staring at me. I'm tired of getting the looks. I'm tired of people, you know, grabbing their bags when I get too close. And everyone talks about how polite and nice it is in Japan. It's not. And, you know, looking for that validation of these negative thoughts and feelings I was having about my life at this point doesn't solve or cure anything. It just keeps you spiraling. And so on this trip specifically, because I was going to a city that I really didn't have a plan to go to, I'm going on the advice of my little brother, who, you know, I respect wholeheartedly. And he was like, you know, you should check it out at least. And, you know, it was doing something I didn't have planned and that I really wasn't like super geeked for, but very intrigued by. So I figured I'd go and also kind of work on myself. It's like, okay, so I'm going to make eye contact. If I make eye contact, just nod and smile. They don't have to nod and smile back. They don't have to acknowledge me, none of that. But that acknowledge that people are there. This whole, we're surrounded by people and still feel lonely shit. This whole, you know, it's me versus everybody. It's not a mentality that I need to keep here. It really isn't. And that's a whole nother episode in it. So, but I'm sitting out there smoking a cigar. My guy just went inside, to go to the bathroom. And there's this dude in the group. And he does just like this. Sitting there smoking. That's the jersey on. And he goes. And I was like, okay. I was like, what? Smiling. What? He goes, Mbappe. And I'm like, oh, shit. I was like, France? All you from France? Like, yeah, Mbappe. Yeah. And so then I let him get a pass. I was like, okay, I get it. I'm sorry. Like, it's okay, though. And then because I gave him a pass, two other guys in the group started barking some shit. Now, the mood is this. I'm not drunk, but I'm in a tipsy mood. And up until that point, I was in a positive tipsy mood. But because I gave dude a pass and didn't react like most rival footballer fans would, it kind of helped other French dudes in that group kind of get some balls to say some shit to me too. Now, I don't know them. I don't know their humor. I really don't know much about that culture other than the random French dude I'll meet here in Japan usually has a stick up his ass for some reason about either the language barrier or how people dress or what people drink. And I've never had a positive experience with a French dude in Japan yet. And I don't know what that shit is. I can't hold it against the entire race or the entire ethnicity of the people. But going by the track record, in this case, just kind of add a few more ticks on that chart. It's like, so they start barking shit at me. I'm by myself currently. And I know if I start any type of shit, it's 1 versus 3 and whoever else want to jump in this little 25-person group. But I say nothing. And I keep smoking. So they get a good laugh out of it, go into the shop. There were a few minors, I'm assuming, or people who just didn't want to buy alcohol. They were standing outside of the shop still and just giving me glances, then whispering to each other and looking at me and then whispering to, and just like, look, I don't like this on display judgment shit. And so then it's like, you can still say something, you can still do something. But by that time, a guy came out and was like, yo, let's move. Yeah, I'm not feeling this vibe anymore, and it's starting to bring me down a bit. So we went to a different spot, got my spirits back up, and then on the way back out, we're about to separate. And it's like, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to my hotel. And he's like, okay, well, I live back this way. We'll meet up for the event, artifact event the next day. And then going to the train, it's late night and people are drunk and people are like with their people. And it's the whole cat staring me up and down at the station. And it's like, what is this about? Like, I'm not imagining this. This isn't me being drunk and just taking things too personal. It's like, dude, move around. So then there was like, I heard these two dudes talking and they were talking about NFTs. So I'm like, oh shit, maybe they're going to the event. And just hey, bro, we're gonna make so much money, bro. Like, you don't even know. And it's like, oh god, that sentence. We're gonna make so much money, bro. Oh, it just triggered something in me. Like, dude, you don't need to be here. This ain't your scene. This ain't your people. And so I was like, I told my bro, I was like, yo, there's this after party, and if you have one of their NFTs like this avatar, you should go. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna go, so don't worry about like sending me the NFT or anything like that. It's like, I'm after the event, I'm just gonna split. And I just felt this way, like, dude, I don't want to be in that situation again, where it's not so much introvert, but it's just that uncomfortable tension of being on display. I hate that shit. And I don't, and it speaks to a lot to, like, past traumas and shit. And it's like, always overthinking something so that you don't get caught by surprise. So you have to keep running scenarios in your mind so you're prepared for almost every situation, which is impossible. So it's a lie to yourself that if you sit back and strategize, you'll be ready for anything. But in sitting there running simulations, you never actually do an action. You never actually test any of these theories. And at the end of the day, you're isolating yourself, running these plays that never come to fruition. So it's like, why you even bother? I didn't realize that till I got back to the hotel. And by that time, I had already messaged my wife and told her, okay, I'm not coming back Monday. I'll come back Sunday. And she was like, what's wrong? I was like, dude, I just don't want to be here. It's like, I'm spending too much money because it's Tokyo and everything's like, the cost of living is hiked up even more so for tourists. It's like the hotel was straight, but everything else out there is it's just damn expensive. And it's like, paying fucking I paid $8 for a rum and coke, a real rum and coke. I'm like, where in life? I could have just ran to 7-Eleven and got like a strong zero. But those things taste like rum and alcohol, and it's terrible for your body. So it's like, I don't need none of that high proof, toilet gin shit. It's like, give me something legitimate. So it was like a Bacardi and Coke, and it cost me 800 yen. Nah. So overall, the experience, it taught me a lot, especially talking with my guy. It was like we're sharing a lot of the same roadblocks, just being from the Midwest, growing up 80s-ish. And, well, I was definitely born in the 80s, and he was too. But, like, he was born, like, mid to late 80s. I'm 81, so 42 in this bitch. Got my first gray hair. It's like this long one joint right here. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to leave it. I'm going to name him Wesley. My first gray hair is named Wesley. I think it's on this side. I think it's like this one right here. It's long, just one white one. It's like, yep, you're going to stay there. Usher in the rest of them. Finally get that salt and pepper joint popping off. Beautiful. So yeah, that in a nutshell is what happened this past week. And so the communication that I had with my wife, just talking to her about how life is between us, it's so refreshing, dude. It's so refreshing. And it's easy. She doesn't understand me, like a lot of my reactions or the way I think, but her thoughtfulness is just ridiculous. She thought I was, like, so I was mad about what happened in Tokyo. I was like, yo, I'm coming back early. And she was like, I thought you were going to be, I felt you were coming back upset, so I bought flowers. And I was like, well, he's really upset, so I bought 2. And she bought 2 sets of flowers, put them in vase with water, like, these are for you. Like, she bought me flowers, dude, because she thought I was upset. And they put a smile on my face, not gonna lie. It was a beautiful bouquet, and it's like, yeah, that works. So, here's to the little victories, fam. I'll stay on it. And yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, that's the 45. That'll work. So, back in the stretch. Posting these on Web3 now, so, it's on the blockchain. Share them, collect them. Who knows? Maybe this will be not so much worth something in the monetary sense, but worth something as a collection. Like, watch the tales of a man in Japan. That rhymed. It's because I am a rat god from beyond the moon. And with that, yeah. Good night and good luck.